They walk right over it, every day, without ever knowing. A dull rock, cracked, stained, ugly, worth nothing or everything. Because gold doesn't always shine. Sometimes it hides, in patterns, in scars, in clues most people ignore. And once you see them, you can't unsee them. Picture this. You're standing in the middle of nowhere. Dry ground, broken stones, silence. Nothing screams treasure. Nothing looks valuable. But beneath your feet could be a fortune. And the land is trying to tell you, quietly, subtly, patiently. But here's the problem. Most people look for gold the wrong way. They look for glitter. They look for color. They look for luck. And they miss the real signals, the patterns, the fingerprints, the geological whispers. Let me ask you something. Have you ever seen rocks that look rusted? Deep reds, burnt oranges, almost like dried blood, and thought, just dirt? That might have been your first mistake, because that color, that exact color, is often the first sign. Iron, oxidation, and something else, hiding nearby. Gold rarely travels alone. It moves with other elements. It leaves behind evidence. And one of the biggest clues is iron staining. But wait, don't jump to conclusions. Not all red rocks mean gold. That's where most people get fooled. Because the real secret isn't just the color, it's the pattern. Imagine a hillside, scattered rocks, but in one specific area, the ground looks different, more fractured, more broken, more chaotic, almost like the earth was cracked open, violently, long ago. That's not random. That's a story. And gold loves stories like that. These fracture zones, these broken veins, are pathways, ancient highways, where hot fluids once moved, deep underground, carrying minerals, carrying metals, carrying gold. But here's where it gets interesting. Those fluids didn't just flow anywhere. They followed weakness, cracks, fault lines, pressure points, and when they cooled, they left something behind. Not always visible, not always obvious, but always traceable. So when you see rocks that look shattered, not smooth, not rounded, but sharp, angular, almost violent, stop, look closer, because most people will walk right past it. Now, let's go deeper. Have you ever seen white streaks cutting through dark rock? Thin lines, thick veins, running like frozen lightning through stone. Quartz. Most people think it's just decorative, pretty, common, useless. But quartz is one of gold's closest companions. Not always, not guaranteed, but often enough to matter, especially when it appears in certain ways. Not smooth, not polished, but rough, milky, broken, and especially when it's intersecting fractured rock. That combination changes everything, because now you're not just looking at quartz, you're looking at a system, a structure, a geological event, and systems like that don't happen by accident. Here's the part nobody tells you. Gold isn't randomly scattered. It's placed by pressure, by heat, by time, millions of years, working silently, designing patterns, leaving clues. And those clues are still visible today, if you know what to look for. But there's one pattern that's even more powerful, more overlooked, and far more dangerous to ignore. It doesn't look valuable at all. In fact, it looks like decay. Rocks that crumble easily, soft, chalky, almost rotten. Most people kick them aside, ignore them, forget them. But sometimes, that softness is exactly the point. Because when certain minerals break down, they leave behind something heavier, something more stable, something that doesn't disappear. Gold, it stays, while everything else fades. So when you see decomposing rock, next to iron staining, near quartz veins, inside fractured zones, you're no longer guessing. You're reading a map. But here's where it turns. Because not all gold stays hidden. Some of it moves. Water, time, gravity. They pull it, break it loose, carry it away. And where it ends up is where the real stories begin. Imagine a dry riverbed or a slow-moving stream, bends in the water, curves, shadows. Most people look at water and see nothing, but experienced eyes see traps, places where heavy things settle, where lighter material gets washed away, where gold can quietly collect. But even here, there are patterns. Black sand. Have you seen it? Fine, dark, heavy, almost magnetic. Most people hate it. It's messy. It stains. It clings. But it's one of the strongest indicators. Because black sand and gold behave the same way. They're heavy. They resist movement. They settle in the same places. So when you find it, you're closer than you think. But don't celebrate yet. Because here's the twist. Sometimes, the richest gold is nowhere near water. It's still locked in rock, waiting. And the only clue is a pattern so subtle, most people never notice it. Lines, repeating lines, parallel fractures, layered breaks, almost like the rock was folded, pressed, bent under impossible force. These formations tell a deeper story, one of tectonic pressure, shifting earth, hidden faults, and where there's pressure, there's heat, and where there's heat, there's movement, and where there's movement, there can be gold, but only if you understand. What came first? Was it the fracture, the fluid, the mineral, or something else entirely? Because one specific pattern, one that looks completely ordinary, has led to some of the largest gold discoveries in history, and almost nobody recognizes it. Not at first glance. It doesn't shine. It doesn't stand out. It doesn't demand attention. There's a pattern, so ordinary, so forgettable, that entire fortunes have been missed just by ignoring it. Flat rock, layered rock, stacked like pages in a book. You've seen it. Everyone has, and almost no one stops, because it looks dead, predictable, boring. But sometimes, those layers are lying. They aren't just layers. They're records, pressure, time, heat, movement, all compressed into stone. And when those layers bend, even slightly, something important happened there. Not random, not gentle. Force, deep force. Let me show you what most people miss. Imagine thin layers of rock, stacked neatly. Then suddenly, they curve, ripple, fold, like fabric. That's not decoration. That's stress. And stress creates pathways, tiny spaces, microscopic fractures, invisible roots for something to move through. And long ago, something did. Hot fluids, rich with minerals, under pressure, searching for escape, they entered those folds, those bends, those weak points. And when they cooled, they left behind traces, sometimes quartz, sometimes iron, sometimes sulfides, and sometimes gold. But here's the part that feels almost unfair. You can stand right on top of it and never know, because the surface doesn't tell the whole story. Let me ask you something. Have you ever picked up a rock that felt heavier than it should? Same size, same shape, but different. That's not your imagination. Density matters. Gold is heavy, unnaturally heavy, and when it's mixed into rock, even in small amounts, it changes the feel. But most people never check. They don't lift. They don't compare. They just walk. And the ground keeps its secrets. Now here's where things get even stranger. Sometimes the best clue is what's missing. No vegetation, bare patches, strangely lifeless zones. You'd think that means nothing. Dead soil, bad ground. But certain minerals change the chemistry of the earth. They make it harder for plants to grow. And those same minerals often travel with gold. So when you see a patch of land that refuses to support life, surrounded by healthy growth, pause, look again, because that contrast is not random. It's a signal. Now combine that with everything you've seen so far: iron staining, fractured rock, quartz veins, folded layers, black sand nearby. Individually, maybe nothing. Together, that's a story. And stories like that have endings. But here's the twist most people never expect. Gold doesn't always sit where it formed. It moves, breaks free, travels, and where it travels is where the real patterns begin to emerge. Think about gravity, always pulling, always guiding. Gold follows the path of least resistance, downhill, into cracks, into channels, into traps. But not all traps are obvious. Some are hidden in plain sight, a bend in terrain, a shallow dip, a natural groove in rock, places where water once flowed, or still does, even if you can't see it anymore. Dry creeks, ancient stream beds, buried channels, ghost rivers. Yes, ghost rivers. Rivers that existed thousands, even millions of years ago. Gone now, but not erased, because the gold they carried is still there, locked in place, waiting. And the only clue is a subtle shift in the land, a change in rock size, a sudden appearance of rounded stones in the middle of jagged terrain. That's not natural, not random. That's transport. Water did that long ago, and where water slows, gold drops. So if you ever see smooth stones mixed into rough, angular rock, stop. That contrast matters, because it means two worlds collided, and gold often settles right at that boundary. But here's the part that almost nobody believes. Sometimes the biggest clue is sound. Yes, sound. Tap a rock, lightly. Some ring, some don't. Dense rocks often give a sharper tone, and sometimes those tones reveal differences you can't see. Subtle, but real. Now imagine combining all of this. You're walking, scanning, observing. You see iron staining. You notice fractures. You spot quartz. You feel heavier rock. You find black sand. You see folded layers. You notice dead ground. You recognize ancient flow patterns. At that point, you're no longer guessing. You're reading the earth like a language. And suddenly, what looked like nothing becomes something. But here's the final layer, the one almost no one talks about: patience. Because even when all signs point to gold, it doesn't mean it's easy. It doesn't mean it's visible. It means it's possible. And that possibility is what built entire fortunes. Quietly, one observation at a time. So the next time you step outside, on a trail, in the mountains, near a dry creek, or even a forgotten roadside, don't just look, read, because the ground beneath you might be whispering. And now, you finally know how to listen. But one question remains. If these patterns are so real, so consistent, so powerful, why are they still being missed? Why are they still waiting? That answer is hidden in something even more subtle, something most people have seen but never truly noticed. And once you do, you'll realize just how close you've been this entire time.